Welcome. You're listening to Alaskan National News' New Year's special. My name's Henry, and today I'm joined by two special guests.
Erica.
And Alan.
Erica here is going to be my co-host for this and next episode. For this episode, we couldn't really find a specific genre for the music, so the overall theme for today is going to be songs from the South. Alright, so the first topic I want to discuss is everyone's favorite, rape.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
That's probably just your favorite, Henry.
I love it. So, a few days ago, I was watching the Onion movie. Have you guys ever seen it?
No.
Well, you know what the Onion is, though, right?
They made a movie?
Yeah, they made a movie.
Oh wait, you mean like the
Newspaper.
Newspaper?
They made a movie.
Oh shit! All right.
It's really funny. It's just basically like a bunch of little sketches, like about a bunch of little news stories. But anyways, they had one that really kind of caught my eye. Basically, what it was it was sort of like a mystery board game night where people were reenacting like a murder scene, but instead of doing murder, they did a rape pretty much. So they had like a fake victim, they had the scenario, all that kind of stuff. And obviously the joke is how taboo rape is. And even though murder is also kind of messed up, but it kind of made me think about how despite murder having like more serious charges and overall objectively kind of having a more negative outcome, not to diminish the effect rape can have on a person. But you see, even though they're giving lesser sentences, rape is definitely a much more taboo subject. People get a lot more defensive when you make rape jokes, but murder jokes, no one would even bat an eye if you made like a murder joke.
So is this about jokes, like people being upset about the joke, or about just talking about rape in general conversation?
I want to get your takes on why do you think it is such a more taboo topic than murder?
Because it involves
rape is
consensual sex.
Well, no, but like murder is literally like, you're taking away the life, but yeah, we kind of speak about it like kind of freely in a way.
When you talk about rape, you're taking away like self-autonomy.
Yeah, if you think about it, with murder, it happens and it's done. With rape, it happens and it's kind of still there. It sticks with you.
It's trauma.
Also, like, I think some of it has to do with the fact you kind of get to see the effect it has on the direct victim, whereas the murder, you don't really get to see the effect the crime has actually had on the victim.
That's really interesting. I'm really glad that they went into this discussion instead of something weird like what you did last show. I think another aspect of that is that some people, I'm sure there's people who fetishize murder too, but there are people who fetishize rape, and the fact that rape is so common is partly because it's so fetishized, like this whole power struggle issue. And of course that is present in murder as well. Serial killers thrive on the notion of power to the extent that they kill people. Like, people will get turned on by this board game. And they're terrible people for doing it. That's like another thing. And then on top of that, I think a dead person won't be upset by seeing a board game about death because they can't see it.
His family might.
Yeah, his family might. But like a rape person, which happens, first of all, rape happens way more often than murder. Rape happens a lot, and people live to see the consequences of it, and the trauma stays. And then they'd have to see a board game about it, like trivializing it in a sense.
But it is kind of weird how we kind of also trivialize murder, though. And also, in response, I would also kind of argue that I feel like in a lot of ways people fetishize murder, and you're starting to see that more and more in like Tumblr posts. I'm starting to see like more and more people kind of like fetishize and show how much they have crushes on murderers.
Oh, that's called hybristophilia or something like that. That's not that common though. I mean, I think another issue though is that rape goes down, at least for women, because of course men get raped a lot. I think like 1 in 16 or something like that. Violence against women is such like a deep societal issue, and when you talk about rape, it's a straight, direct line towards women's rights. When you talk about murder, that happens to everyone, non-discriminatively. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's another issue.
Do you think it's because women are kind of seen as somewhat, not to say that they are, but they are seen more as like the weaker sex, so therefore like there's sort of a little...
I don't think that's why.
But there's like kind of like pity on them in a way.
I don't think that's why. Okay.
But I'm just trying to say what I think society might feel is like they kind of feel like this nurturing, and they want to care for women and they want to like take care of them.
I don't think that's the problem, because I don't think that's how society views women at all, because if that was the case, there wouldn't be as many rapes. I think that if you make a rape board game, it trivializes the problem that is violence against women as a whole, because that's like a subset of it. It also trivializes rape in general, but I think it's further made deeper by the whole fact that it's a societal issue and it's a women's issue. So there's that.
Alright, so that's going to be it for our first segment. Our first song is going to be a country song called Swan Song by Paper Navy Country. Enjoy. Welcome back. You were just listening to Swan Song by Paper Navy Country. So for the next segment, we wanted to play a little game in celebration of the recent release of The Disaster Artist. I wanted to have a reading race between Erica and Alan. So essentially what I want to have you guys do is try to read every word in a piece of literature I found as fast as possible.
Is it out loud?
Yes, out loud.
Okay, so I have to lean over like this.
Yeah, I'll position it more correctly.
Okay.
So the only rule is that I have to understand every word you say, and I will make you reread a word if you stumble. Whoever has the shorter time wins. Also, whoever goes second will have to wait outside in the 0-degree weather while the first person reads. Today, you both will be reading a classic piece, the Wikipedia pages plot of the legendary 2003 American independent drama, The Room. So Alan agreed to wait outside, so
Alright.
Alan, Erica will be going first. 2, 1, go.
Johnny is a successful banker who lives in San Francisco townhouse with Lisa, his fiancée. Lisa, however, becomes dissatisfied with her life, and Johnny seduces his best friend Mark, and the two begin a secret affair. As the wedding date approaches and Johnny's influence on his bank slips, Lisa alternates between glorifying and vilifying Johnny to her family and friends, both making false accusations of domestic abuse and defending Johnny against criticisms. Meanwhile, Johnny having overheard Lisa confess her infidelity to her mother, attaches a tape recorder to her phone in an attempt to identify her lover. Then he, a neighboring student who Johnny financially and emotionally supports, has run in with an armed drug dealer named Chris R., whom Johnny and Mark overpower and take into custody. Then he also lusts after Lisa, ultimately confessing to Johnny his attraction. Johnny slowly begins spiraling into a mental haze and calls upon Peter, his and Mark's psychologist friend. Peter alternates between defending Lisa and assessing her as a sociopath, which results in Mark feeling guilty about his and Lisa's affair, briefly trying to murder him. At a surprise birthday party for Johnny, one of the best friends catches Lisa kissing Mark while the rest of the guests are outside and confronts her about his affair. Johnny announces to his guests that he and Lisa are expecting a child, only for Lisa to tell the other guests that she lied about it. At the end of the evening, Lisa flaunts her affair in front of Johnny, who attacks Mark. After the party, Johnny looks himself in the bathroom in despair. After coming out, he receives a cassette recorder that he attached to his phone and listens to the intimate call between Lisa and Mark. Outraged, Johnny berates Lisa for betraying him, prompting her to end their relationship with Mark. Johnny has an emotional breakdown, destroying his apartment, committing suicide via gunshot. Hearing the commotion, Denny, Mark, and Lisa rush up the stairs to find his body. Mark blames Lisa for Johnny's death. Denny asks Lisa and Mark to leave him with Johnny, but they stand comfort each other as the police arrive.
Done. Alright, Alan, come in. Could you hear her, honestly?
No.
Okay, cool.
I was going pretty fast.
Yeah, no, that was good, Alright.
It's not too cold outside.
So you're going to just basically read the same thing. I'll give you the laptop so I can hear you a little bit better. 3, 2, 1, go.
Johnny is a successful banker who lives in a San Francisco townhouse with Lisa as fiancée. Lisa, however, has become dissatisfied with her life, and Johnny seduces his best friend Mark, and the two began a secret affair. As the wedding date approaches, Johnny's influence at his bank slips. Lisa alternates between glorifying and vilifying Johnny and her family and friends, both making false accusations of domestic abuse and defending Johnny against criticisms. Meanwhile, Johnny, having overheard Lisa confess her infidelity to her mother, attaches a tape recorder to their phone in an attempt to identify her lover. Denny, a neighboring student whom Johnny financially and emotionally supports, has a run-in with an armed drug dealer named Chris R., whom Johnny and Mark overpower to take into custody. Denny also lusts after Lisa, ultimately confessing to Johnny his attraction. Johnny slowly begins spiraling into mental haze and calls upon Peter and his Mark's psychologist friend. Peter alternates between defending Lisa and assessing her as a sociopath, which results in Mark feeling guilty about his and Lisa's affair, briefly trying to murder him. At a surprise birthday party for Johnny, one of his friends catches Lisa kissing Mark while the rest of his guests are outside and confronts her about the affair. Johnny announces to the guests that he and Lisa are expecting a child, only for Lisa to tell the other guests that she lied about it. At the end of the evening, Lisa flaunts her affair in front of Johnny, who attacks Mark at the party. After the party, Johnny locks himself in the bathroom in despair. Upon coming out, he retrieves a cassette recorder that he attached to the phone and listens to an intimate call between Lisa and Mark. Outraged, Johnny berates Lisa for betraying him, prompting her to end their relationship and live with Mark. Johnny has an emotional breakdown, destroying his apartment and committing suicide via gunshot. Hearing the commotion, Denny, Mark, and Lisa rush up the stairs to find his body. Mark blames Lisa for Johnny's death. Denny asks Lisa and Mark to leave him with Johnny, and they stay and comfort each other until the police arrive. As the police arrive.
Alright, so Erica's time was 1:20.87. Alan's was 1:34.86.
Well, shit, alright.
Great job to everyone. Next up, we have a folk song called Springish by Gillicuddy. Enjoy.
Got a lot tied up inside. Got Jesus on your mind, and a boy that just won't fight. Baby, it's a grind, and this your bitter life. when nothing just won't do. The girl pleads, the woman needs a wedding ring. That bird won't sing. Well, there's a war going on outside, but only you and mine. Man, you're feeling bad. Boy, you're full of spite. For this, your bitter light, where nothing just won't do. The boy dreams, the man deems himself a king, but that bird won't sing. They say it's the deceiver, misleading humankind, kind. But old Roger's just a fever, burning in the mind. People, you got a fever, burning you up inside.
Welcome back. You were just listening to Springish by Gillicuddy. So for our final segment, because it is our New Year special, and I do want to take a look back at the wonderful events we've seen in 2017. At this point, everyone's already done their year-end list, the best albums, movies, games, etc. But we're in a negative mood right now, so we feel about ranting about our least favorite albums, singles, and live shows. So I'll start with Alan.
Yeah, alright. I don't really keep track of like albums and singles and shit. I just kind of figure out what's out. If I enjoy it, I enjoy it, but this year I was kind of indifferent to everything. In terms of live shows, my least favorite, out of all the shows I've been to, the most memorable, either good or bad, were at Chicago Opener I went to with Henry. My least favorite, though, out of all of them, was probably Kiss, because there was just nothing going on. My back was hurting like a motherfucker because I was standing there still for so fucking long and just watching them. The visuals were really good, the songs were really good, but overall, just standing there was not great. Other bands were performing, they had no light show, nothing, people were running around, moshing, it was great, but Kiss could have done more.
I honestly agree with you. I don't know, personally, I did like the visuals. They definitely have spectacular visuals, but it made me realize how substanceless all their songs are and how mediocre. Shout out Gene Simmons, because he honestly is one of the best marketers of all time. Like
the only one holding them together.
Yeah, he really is the reason why they sold so many. When rock fans bitch about, pop music's so substanceless and everything sounds the same. You guys were responsible for Kiss. Do not pretend like you did not make Kiss happen. You made fucking Kiss happen. If you have a chance to see them for like a decent price, check them out. But yeah,
make sure you're sitting.
Yeah, make sure you're sitting and don't pay over $100 for a fucking ticket, because that's how much they normally go for. So the fact that we got them for like $50 at a festival is pretty good. Erica?
Okay, so I'm gonna start with live performance, and it wasn't a bad live performance. But I was at this concert that happens like in my school's city. Big Baby Dram was there, and I
Oh,
think
really?
Dram is great. I think Dram is great, but literally everyone the entire time, everyone was just like a bunch of drunk kids waiting for either Cash Machine or Broccoli. And he literally waited. So I was waiting and waiting, waiting. I was with this one chick who I almost signed a lease with.
But was like he good or was it mostly the crowd?
No, he was good, but there was just the feeling everyone was waiting for Broccoli, and he probably knew it deep inside his heart that if he played Broccoli now, everyone's gonna leave. And then I went, and suddenly this one girl who we're both friends with is super drunk right now, and she's more drunk than she's ever been in her life, and we need to come help her because she's just
Dying.
scary drunk.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, do you want me to come with you? And she's like, yes. And she held my hand. We ran dramatically to this apartment, and then this chick just like had peed herself and stuff like that, and she was like super drunk. And I was like, I think we should call the paramedics. And this girl was like, no, we can't call the paramedics. It's like, we can't let anyone know. And I was like, are you fucking serious? Like, we should call the paramedics. Like, and then, like, so this whole thing was going on. It was like 2 a.m. And then from the window, because they had an apartment right by the concert, you could hear Broccoli playing in the background because he finally got there. And I was like, okay. Like, I guess I finally heard it live. And that was, like, the highlight of my night, I guess, was hearing Broccoli through that window. So it wasn't that Dram was bad. It was just, like,
the experience.
Yeah. And then earlier this year, when we were going camping, Henry was like, we're going to have to do some album reviews. We're going to put it on YouTube. And he made us all listen to,
Lil Yachty's Teenage Emotions.
Yeah,
that was
Lil
mine
Yachty's
too.
Teenage Emotions. And that's what we had to review. And I think that sentence stands for itself, and I'm sure you'll go into it, so I'm just going to leave it there, because I don't really have much to say.
Yeah, I know that. Like, that was honestly such a bad album. I like Lil Yachty. I still like the Lil Boat tape, but the Teenage Emotions is so fucking bad. It was just so bloated, so overproduced. Just the vocals were so bad, but they were just unbearable in, like, every song.
It's like Pussy Like Peekaboo.
Yeah, that song was, like, really bad, too. Yeah,
Should
overall.
blow my dick like a cello.
Little Miss Lady in the Yellow. I just got one question. Can I fuck?
Oh my god. I hate that song so much. There's so many bad songs. Did you have a bad song though?
It's like not really even that bad, I guess. But you know that song that's like Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang?
You didn't like that?
No, it's not that I didn't like it, I guess. There's this kid in one of my English classes, and he's like really loves rap. And he had this huge like rant one day in front of our class, and literally like 10 to 20 minutes of him just talking about rap and the direction it's going in and whether rap is dead. And it was like the most influential speech of 2017, and it was in my English class of like 15 kids. He was basically like, there's a song, literally, it's called Gucci Gang. He literally just says, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang, Gucci Gang. And I was like, oh my god. And it like spoke to me on like an existential level. End of the speech, he was like, the whole issue was like minoritized groups can speak about their problems and have it be transmitted, and it was a way of being like a street journalist because other news sources weren't picking up on these terrible things that were happening, blah, 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 blah. Rap is like a huge influential source. And you know, it's a lot like punk rock, I think, honestly. And that it's like the communication of anger and passion and like all this stuff in a very like raw, visceral way, but also a very talented way, because the wordplay, in some extent, I think rap has gotten a lot more complicated with the wordplay, but in other sense. But what I'm saying is, so he ended with this speech, he ended it with, so rap is dead. And I was like, wow. So I think that branching from that and what rap was in the past and what it stood for, I think Gucci Gang can be seen as a historical like symbol of the times and where rap is going and stuff like that, but I don't think it's indicative or representative of the entire rap movement as a whole. So that's why it is my worst song of 2017.
I respectfully disagree. No.
Okay.
So for me, what actually Lil Pump and Gucci in general like kind of showed to me is that there can be both strong people and weak people in subgenres, and also that raw talent does not necessarily make good music. So here's the thing about Lil Pump, the whole philosophy of Lil Pump. So Lil Pump is one of the least talented mainstream rappers. However, objectively. Yeah. But what's great about him is that he knows how to play to his strengths. So because he knows these catchy, repetitive flows, these great productions, he's able to make these catchy trap bangers. When I was listening to his mixtape, honestly, every single song I was listening to, I just like kept bobbing my head over and over again. It was just so sticky. Every single like lyric. True. It was dumb, but it knew it was dumb. Same with Kesha. Like they know that they're dumb, they know their place, and they play to those strengths. Whereas you have like Jane Smith or people who try to take on this conscious level, this deep thinking.
But they can't do it.
And they don't have the skills necessarily, or the viewpoint, or the structure. So I will agree, like, Lil Pump is definitely on the weaker side, and he's definitely a passing fad, but I still think he came in, he did what he needed to do, and he's going to go out.
That's true, true.
And the whole thing about rap is dead, like, no, it isn't. Like, trap has definitely reached its peak, where I'm going to get to that in a bit, but the whole genre itself isn't going anywhere. but definitely the worst single was "Everyday Bro" by Jake Paul.
That was 2017 shit.
Yeah, that was 2017 in the summer of Jake Paul. Don't you remember?
The summer of Jake Paul.
Yeah, that one was just whitewashed, so fucking bad. What pissed me off so much is just like every single lyric, he felt that shit. He thought, oh, I'm owning whoever I'm fucking dissing right now. I'm like owning their bitch ass. Like, no, every single like diss is just really fucking weak. Everything is cringy. There's illogical lyrics like England is my city, like that whole meme. Just nothing makes fucking sense. Not only that, but there's a whole fucking summer of YouTube diss tracks. Go into YouTube. There are so many YouTube diss tracks, and they're all cringy and they're all shitty. And they're all just taking like these weak ass fucking shots at each other that are just the most petty, like surface level bullshit. And they think they're being clever and shit. It's just like the worst shit I've ever fucking heard. And then probably worst live shows, Megadeth.
Why?
I can't get on with thrash metal.
Really?
I like some black metal, but thrash metal always just feels like more reserved version of black metal to me.
Really? It reminds me, it's more related, I think, to punk music for me when I hear it.
But it lacks that ferocity, though.
I feel like thrash and black metal are two independent genres. Like, how do you compare them?
I mean, they're still like metal, though. It just feels like a lot more reserved. The guitars are pretty good, but just the vocals just don't feel like as aggressive or as mean. It's not like intense enough for me to get into it, but it's not reserved enough for me to like enjoy like the atmosphere of it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever like ferocity they may have had back in the day, they did not have in 2017. I heard from somewhere Dave Mustaine, the lead singer, will occasionally go on political rants. Alex Jones level like crazy political rants. At first I was like, oh god, I hope he doesn't fucking do that. But like halfway through it, I was like, just go on a fucking rant already. I don't want to hear you sing anymore. The instrumentals was fine. I didn't really have a problem with that. It was just the vocals that were just really off.
Yeah, usually with bands, whenever someone from one band that isn't the singer does a side project and that person decides to sing instead of doing their own instrument, it never turns out well.
Foo Fighters does okay.
They're okay.
They're okay. They're okay.
They're just like his claim to fame is that he's Dave Grohl.
Yeah, it's just okay.
I knew a chick in high school, and she was like, "Foo Fighters is so much better than Nirvana."
No.
I was like, are you serious? Like, just even comparing music and not historical impact.
They're not as good, but they're still just okay. Like they're doing well for themselves.
I like might put a track on like my iTunes playlist to listen to when I'm on the airplane and then skip after halfway, but like they're okay.
I like what's called what's the main song?
The Pretender.
Yeah, I like the
That's
Pretender.
a good song.
That is a good song.
That's an airplane
I think
song.
that is actually an airplane song. I see that. All right. Anyways, so that's our 2017 for you guys. For our last song of 2017, we have a blues banger, "The New Mystical" by Troubadours. Enjoy. Thank you again to Erica and Alan for guesting.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
And thank you if you are listening to this broadcast. I know this is just a jerk-off project, but I still appreciate you taking time out of your day to listen to this. I hope you guys have a great 17, and I hope you guys have a wonderful 2018. Good night.